Hello everybody, it is Danny and we are once again playing The Sims 4. This is a continuation of the series that I debuted about a week ago now. And we are basically just redoing the entire world of Discovery University of Brightchester. I wanted to apologize because I made a very vague promise that I would get a video out this past weekend. That was obviously not the case. This is that video. But, you know, look, I'm just sort of getting started with this whole video making thing, and it's freaking hard. It's hard work. I'm not good at it. I'm learning so much. But it seems like it's going to be a lot more of a realistic goal to get one video out a week, at least for a little bit, until I kind of got my footing a little bit more. So I'm sorry about that, but also there's not that many of you yet, so hopefully you don't mind too much. Not that I don't value you, because there aren't that many of you. Don't get that twisted. I think it's great that anyone's watching me at all. Thank you. So let's get to it. Today we are building the University Commons for the University of Foxbury, which is between the two different universities in this pack. The more kind of contemporary, modern, they are an institute of technology. So all their stuff is very like green and eco-forward. You could tell that the whole space has been developed in more recent years, whereas Brightchester University, the other one, is kind of more classic, very old architecture. Obviously has been a university for quite some time. So, all that to being said, that means I gotta build some modern shit in this world, which, oh boy, it is tricky. Honestly, props to all those folks that, like, got this down. I'm working on it. I don't know. I'm doing the old build a bunch of large boxes and try to make them look as interesting as possible on the outside. So I don't know. I think it looks good in the end, actually. I'm very impressed with it, and I'm very pleased because I really want all of my builds in this series to look like they belong in the world. Like, no hate at all to anyone that builds something above and beyond what The Sims is building, but I'm trying to kind of match their vibe. I think that's a pretty common thing for people to do, or at least these days, is the whole max is match thing, right? So you do that with your Sims. I want to do it with my builds. Just want it to look like it's part of the university. All right, so let's talk about what we actually got going on here. So the left building is kind of like a gym annex, right? So the base floor is going to have the pool and the locker rooms, and then the upper floor has most of the gym equipment. I put in a couple rock climbing walls. I put in the, what's it called that came with Strangerville? Kind of like the karate machine? That's not right at all. I don't know. That thing that you punch and stuff. And then just weight machines, treadmills, boxing bags, all that good stuff. So yeah, I think that's dope. I don't know. In my personal college experience, the gym is kind of like I don't want to say like a big deal, but it's like a big central point, right, in the college, because I think a lot of college students get really into fitness when they go off to college. It's a good place to meet people, and it's a good place to go like blow off steam. So I wanted there to be a gym here. There aren't enough lots in this world for there to have a standalone gym, but I didn't think it was that unrealistic for it to be kind of part of this central commons area, especially because, I don't know, in my experience, at least with the gameplay, it kind of seems like the whole point of going to the commons is to like get food and hang out. And I guess in real life too, right? So I was like, okay, let's make a third thing. It could be get food, hang out, maybe use a computer and work out, right? And then there's more shit to do. More gameplay. What a concept. Things to do in your Sims game. Sorry, not trying to be shady. But yeah, that was kind of my goal behind it, and I player tested it like a lot, and you know, Sims were actually working out. I wasn't sure because, like, I feel like if you don't have a specific type of lot, sometimes the Sims don't behave with objects the way that you think that they would or should, but Sims were working out with them. And I also made a club, at least in this world. I'm eventually going to release kind of my save of just Brightchester. So you can use it too eventually. But I made a save that was all the students that attend Foxbury that are kind of like athletic, so that they would come here kind of on their own and work out, so that hopefully that'll kind of be going on. If your sim were to visit here, there's people working out regardless of the situation, you know, because that's nice. It makes it's more immersive, right? Like that these athletic sims would want to go there so that they can work out. So yeah, we're just working on the outside more, just kind of fancyifying it. I made these really large kind of like bump outs almost for all the doorways. I put doorways on most sides of this building because it kind of, I mean, it's the commons, right? So people are going to be coming from all different directions to go there and do their thing, right? So I don't know, there's a lot of fancy doorways, but I tried to make it look like each kind of entrance was interesting. So this one I put kind of like almost like an art installation above the doorway, which was fun. I used those eco lifestyle plant, these things, I don't know what to call them, wall plant hangings, which when I first saw them, I was like, these are kind of ugly as fuck. I don't know how to use them without it making it look like super repetitive, but in this formation, I think it looks really nice. It looks like something that like maybe they like hired someone to do, or like in the case of some universities, they like have students work on projects like this for an installation. I don't know, but I feel like it went along with kind of the vibes of the rest of the campus. I was looking at a lot of the other buildings while I was building this, and a lot of them had greenery all over the buildings. They had solar panels. You know, I put some of those on the top too. I put a glass roof that was angled on top of the gym because it looked like a lot of the other buildings had, you know, roofs like that. So again, just trying to kind of make it fit in, make it look like it's part of the university. So to be completely real, I don't totally remember all the order that I built this in, because I'm pretty sure I had to rebuild this particular lot 3 or 4 times, I think, which is probably why it looks like it's coming together so easily now, because, oh my God, there was like a week, maybe like 2 weeks ago or so, that I was just like having a time. I was so frustrated because, okay, one of the times our power just went out like twice, like 2 days in a row. I think that they were doing some sort of construction down the street and it knocked our power out twice. Both times, just, you know, because this is the way the world works, while I was working on this. And the second time I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, because I literally had just rebuilt everything. So I was like, oh my God, I will cry. But then, wouldn't you know, a third time, and you'd think like maybe I would have learned, right? Like, oh, this happened to her twice before, maybe she'll start saving more consistently. No, I don't have a brain. I will not do that. Actually, I'm trying so hard to get better at that, especially after this whole instance, because oh my God, I like literally was like, I will freak out right now. I cannot handle this. I cannot believe that I just did all this work and it just went down the drain. Anyway, the third time, I was literally like, I was leaving my house to go to my boyfriend's house because, yeah, we're in a pandemic. I live at my house and my boyfriend's house. I don't go anywhere else. So I was going to his house and I was like, oh, okay, I'll turn off my lamp. You know, I was like turning off my lights. I was like just getting my shit in my room together, you know, before heading out. I go to flip this lamp switch and it's plugged into an outlet on the floor, right? As I hit the switch, sparks fly out of the floor, like all the power in my room. And okay, so my computer's in kind of like an office sort of sunroom thing off of my room. Power's out in there, so just lost my save again. I was like, are you gotta be fucking kidding me? Literally, my light would not turn on. None of the outlets worked. I was like, I bet I just fried my computer. I was so done. I was like, I could cry. Actually, I remember when this was because I was going over there for New Year's. So this was on New Year's. And I was like, because I was like, I don't have time to try to figure out what the heck just happened. I'm just going to go over there and try to have a good time. And then tomorrow Danny can deal with this just terrible catastrophe that I've just done. It ended up being fine. I mean, for the most part. I mean, I definitely blew a fuse, and that is not really my fault. The house that I live in is old as sin, and I'm pretty sure like maybe like, I don't know, like 5-10 years ago, the gal that owns this property did kind of like some electrical work. Well, not her personally, but she like hired some of her guys to do it, and I don't know how qualified they were because there was a lot of very questionable electrical decisions in this house, just from the experience of living in it for 5 years. So anyway, I think that is what you can attribute all this to. Anyway, the good news is my computer's fine. I had it in a surge protector. Always plug your computer into a surge protector. I always sound like your dad, but holy shit, if I had it and I just fried my computer by trying to turn off my lamp, I would have just been so devastated. I can't buy a new computer. Do I look like I'm made of money? What the heck? Yeah, so anyway, we're good. We're good. Everything's fine. But it certainly was a trying week. I was like, how much do I really want to build this lot? Maybe it's not worth it. Maybe God thinks I shouldn't do it. And who am I to come between God and his wishes? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm on about. Anyway, so we're in the pool. This pool, I don't know if I'm even happy with it now. I swear to God, I tried so many different things to make this pool look interesting, but every time I did, I was like, this looks too flashy to be a student like pool. I don't know. So I ended up keeping it pretty simple. I did do the thing that I've noticed, at least at a couple of gyms that I've gone to, do, where they make like kind of like a wall of the pool, all windows, so you can see into it, which I kind of actually low-key hate. I did, this is a different story. I did water aerobics for a hot minute when I was part of, was that LA Fitness? I think I was a member at LA Fitness, I want to say. Back when some of my other friends lived in Columbus here too. We were all members there together, and my friend Caitlin and I really wanted to join like a club or a group or whatever, a class, that's the word I'm looking for. And we were like so intimidated because you join a gym and you're not that fit, and everybody's doing all these fitness classes and they like know what's up and you don't. That's like, that sucks. It sucks so bad. But I really wanted to get fit and trim and stuff, and it was nice that she was there too, because you know, we could kind of like, you know, be there for each other, both be newbies at the same time. But anyway, long story short, the class that we ended up taking was water aerobics, which it was me and her, and we're both like in our mid-20s or so, and just a bunch of like just fucking cutthroat, savage older ladies that were amazing and so much better at it than us. Like, okay, I feel like water aerobics gets such a bad rap, like of being like, oh, that's an old person sport, right? Okay, but that's maybe fair. It was a lot of older folks in that class, but like the water resistance while you're trying to work out was no joke. They would have you like, just to like warm up or whatever, they'd have you like run in the pool and do almost like a lap, right? And you make almost sort of like a whirlpool because there's so many of you running around in a circle. And then you'd switch directions after like a minute so that you'd have the resistance of the water trying to go one way and you're going against it. And so many of the exercises used that principle. I'm probably like, I don't know, maybe this is public knowledge and I just didn't know about it, but I will be real, I didn't know anything about water aerobics before I took this class. I took it for a while and it was super fun. But yeah, anyway, while I was in water aerobics class, there was like just a giant window to the rest of the gym, and I always was kind of like, I don't want people to be watching me right now. I actually high-key hate it. I don't want you to look at me. I don't know. Gyms are such a double-edged sword. It's nice to have the equipment and kind of the environment where everyone's like, oh, ooh, I'm getting strong. But like, I don't know. Sometimes it feels a little judgy to me, and I don't know. I'm not like overweight or anything, but I wouldn't say that I'm very fit. okay? And so it's like, I don't know anything about like any of the exercise equipment. I don't know where everyone learned how to use them. It's like they all took a class when I wasn't looking. And I don't know how anything works and they do. It's stressful. Anyway, so all that being said, I did that to the pool. And while I was rambling on about water aerobics, we have decorated the gym. I did this kind of like mirror divider because I thought that the space in here was kind of like, I don't know, it was a lot. It didn't really seem like a clear different sections. So I made almost like a treadmill zone, and then I made a rock climbing zone, and then I made a strength training zone. In this hallway, put a bunch of those new vending machines from Snowy Escape, although I guess I don't know if they're that new now, but I think they're really cool. There's definitely vending machines everywhere on a college campus. I literally lived out of vending machines. My first couple years of college, I would literally eat like a bag of chips for lunch every day, which is not healthy, but it is what I did because I did not know how to feed myself. And so I'd be like, all right, time for microbiology. I'm just gonna get some sour cream and onion lays. That's on the food pyramid, I think. Yeah, ooh, the times, good times. Not eating enough food. Make sure you take care of yourself. That is something that, going back, I think it would have been so good for like my mental health in addition to my physical health, because they're linked. If I could have just gone back and taken better care of myself, that would have been really cool. If you are in college or you're about to go to college or whatever, obviously I know things are different in the current climate. I guess I can't really speak to the experience of folks who have to worry about remote learning or whatever things will be like when it's no longer remote learning, but I don't know. It applies to everybody. Take care of yourself. Feed yourself. Don't forget to eat food. Turns out you need it to live. I don't know if anyone ever told you that before, but it's true. All right, moving on. We are in the locker rooms, and I made 2 of them, but I didn't make them gendered. I don't know. I think we're beyond all that, but I did want there to be a lot of toilets on this lot, so I put a bunch of them in here. There's also a toilet on the very top floor of the actual Commons building, so if your son's gotta poop, you're good. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so there's that. This is basically, I think, the end of the gym area, and then we're gonna move on to the Commons. And the whole thing with the Commons is it's almost like a kind of like a study and social facility. I also put in some of the robotics equipment, and I did kind of like, go back and forth on whether I wanted to put all the robotic stuff in kind of like a basement area almost and have like an underground lab, because there were definitely a lot of those, at least at the university that I attended, the Ohio State University. There was plenty of that. But I ended up just kind of shoving them on the top floor and not making a big deal out of them because I don't know how much the Sims actually are using those. The only time I remember, I don't know, I'm trying to think back. Before I redid the entire university, I did a playthrough of my own, just with the kind of like vanilla game. So I could kind of see like how it ran and things I would change if I was building it, which I am. And I don't think many of the Sims were using those robotics things. The only time I remember it is one time a Sim died using it because I don't think they were qualified and they started a fire or they electrocuted themselves. I didn't actually see them do it. I just saw them die, and then everybody freaked out in the entire building, and I'm just trying to do my goddamn homework, and I'm like, all right, this is a mess. This is just some Sims shit, but it was fun. I don't know. So all that to say, I don't know. I didn't make a huge space for it. I just made it look kind of like a workstation. So obviously it's required to have a robotics station at the Commons. It's like one of the lot requirements. So it's there, but it's not like, I don't know, there's not a huge deal about it. So this is the Commons. On the first floor is kind of like the dining hall, right? So there's the little cafeteria station. I put in some more vending machines. I actually put in one of those professional chef stations. I don't think that anyone will go to it because this is not a restaurant lot, but I thought that it looked good, and you can just kind of use your imagination, or maybe you can hire someone to use it, up to you, but I think it just looks nice, like just kind of for a little bit more immersion, that there's like actually a space that Sims are creating the food that your Sim is eating. Weird, right? So yeah, I don't know, there's just like a lot of like little like school pride things around, and there's tables and places to chit chat. The second floor is more of like kind of like the social and computer zone. Something I definitely remember from playing is they're not clubs, there's like these university groups that'll spawn, which I almost wish that they were clubs. I understand why they're not, because that was kind of like a feature that was unique to get together, but I like how they work way less, these university groups, because you can't kind of like choose who's in them. You know what I mean? Like you can't customize them to the same degree, and I don't know, if you haven't picked up on it, I like to customize everything myself because I want the game to be exactly how I want to play it. I don't have any control issues at all. I don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. There's a group called the Gamers. I don't know. There's something like that. There's like a e-gamer group that'll come, and they'll just kind of like take up every single computer on the lot, and they'll do gaming, and you can join them or you can participate in their event or whatever. So I made a bunch of computers. I put them all in a row, and I put like a bunch of computers, because in my experience, every time I would go to the Commons, 9 times out of 10 it was because I needed to use a computer because my Sim was broke, because I made them broke, and I didn't have a computer, so I had to use a public one, right? And so I'd go here thinking I could use it, and there's all these gamers everywhere hogging all the goddamn computers, and I was like, what the heck? So in my version of Commons, there's plenty of technology for everyone. You're welcome. So yeah, anyway, here is the dining tables, plenty of space for everybody. It's so hard in The Sims because I feel like it's like a tightrope, right? Because you're trying to make it seem like a realistic space. And in a realistic college environment, there would be tons of seating for people to eat, you know, like so you can sit with your friends, and there's probably going to be a lot of people eating all at the same time. But in The Sims, there's probably going to be like 2 people that are eating at some time, and it's like, okay, how do I make the space seem like it's big and functional, but also like it's going to seem populated when there are actually people here? Kind of my solution to this was I made a lot of this building like empty space. Well, not empty space, but I like cut out the ceiling, right? Because I don't know, I was like, if I have all 3 of these floors completely full, there'll be like 1 Sim on each level doing something, and it'll seem really weird and like a ghost town, and not like a bustling college central spot like I wanted to, you know? So that was kind of the plan there. I made everything really bright and vibrant. I wanted it to seem like semi-industrial, you know, just like I wanted it to seem new and like technological. Cool. I don't know. I definitely drew a lot of inspiration from the Union, which is kind of the Commons at OSU. It has a giant ceiling that goes all the way up like, I don't know, like 4 stories when you first go in. It's beautiful. And you can look up and people are just like kicking it or doing whatever on all the different stories, and you can just kind of look up and there's all these art installations that are like hanging from the ceiling, and there's like a giant glass roof. It's beautiful. So I was trying to kind of like evoke those vibes of it being just a very large space with a lot of happenings all at once. Everybody's doing their own thing, but like, you know, everybody's involved in it, right? So that was the vibe I went for. Hopefully I captured that. Going back to that, actually, I put on both the 2nd and 3rd floor in this space, I put installation. So on the 2nd floor, I think I put a dinosaur skull, and then on the 3rd floor, I put a rocket model. And in my experience, especially in like, okay, I guess I certainly haven't been to all of the buildings. Oh, sorry, my cat just jumped on me. I certainly haven't been to all of the buildings at OSU. But that being said, especially in like a lot of the engineering buildings, when you first go in, there's just like a huge model of like just something that the students are working on or learning about or have discovered or created. I think that's pretty typical, right? Like they're trying to like show off like the best of what they study and what they do, just to kind of impress people. Gosh, so much of, oh my gosh, Beatrice, I swear to God, sorry, my cat is being a cat. So much of college or universities is so superficial because they're money-making institutions. Not to sound like I'm just super pessimistic about it, like, because I don't know, it's a lot more complicated than that, but I think that it's in a lot of universities' best interest to make themselves look as interesting and clean and new and awesome as possible. They are on the cutting edge, they are the top, whatever at whatever. And so they're trying to show off their stuff because they want more students to go there or people to respect them so they can get more money, right? That's like the whole thing. So they want to show off their shit. They want to put a dinosaur head in their union. And that's what I did. I put a dinosaur head in here. These are all the computers I was talking about. I think there's like 10 there. So you are going to be good to go. I'm pretty sure there are only 5 members in the bot savants or the gamers. I don't really remember what they're called, y'all. I need to double check this up, being a bad Sims gamer right now, not remembering it. I'm pretty sure the bot savants are separate. I'm pretty sure that's kind of like the engineering group, not the gaming group. So I'll have to look that up. But anyway, you should have enough computers for your heart's desire. You can do whatever you want. You can write that paper and be just fine. I tried to put just a little touches of like quote unquote modern art around, because I was like, again, this is not a traditional space. I feel like they're trying to look really like contemporary. Look at all these cool modern art pieces that we have around, I put these fancy recycling bins from Snowy Scape everywhere because especially at OSU, they would have these like recycle bins that are like, you have aluminum foil, put it in this one. You have wood, put it in this. You know what I mean? I'm sure that's probably the norm in better places than America, but I wouldn't say is the norm everywhere in Ohio, but I don't know. I feel like, again, OSU wants to look, not even just OSU, every university wants to look like they're really on top of shit, and being eco-friendly ties into that, especially now. It's important to be eco-friendly. It's not just trendy. It's important. What am I talking about? There's a bathroom up here. These are the little workshops for the robotics that I was talking about before. I put 2 different little, I was originally going to put 2 workstations for the robotics, and I was like, this seems a little redundant and weird. So what I did was I made one room, kind of the robotics room, right? So I put 2 different robotics stations in it, and it was kind of like, this is the robotics lab, right? And then the other one is almost like a kind of like a rentable study room, or rentable, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of group room. Like there were these like almost like board rooms that I remember you could rent out, well, not even rent, but just reserve from the library, at least when I was in college, and you could meet with like a group if you're doing a group assignment, or maybe like your study group or whatever, and you could like hang and talk out everything just for like, I don't know, a set amount of time. It was super helpful because there's a lot of people on a college campus. Sometimes it's hard to find a good space for yourself, and not everyone's house is the most like, I don't know, good for that kind of setting. So anyway, I made a room like that, and it's not actually super functional in the game, but it's also the space that is the furthest from any of the doors, and in my experience those aren't necessarily the optimal spaces for your sim to be hanging out in anyway, because they're so far away from everything. It'll probably take them 3 hours to get to that room. So they gotta hike the stairs, taking their own dandy time, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is the end. This is the screenshots. I'll let you look at them, and thanks again for watching. I will get another video out for you guys next week, so look forward to that, and take it easy. Bye.